Good afternoon and welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I am Ogwa Vivian Unyedibia. Well, a while ago, President Muhammadu Buhari inaugurated the Abuja Light Rail Mass Transit Project. Performing the ceremony, the president reaffirmed his administration's commitment to moving the transport sector to the next level, especially the rail system.
The already existing cordial relations and developmental partnership between Nigeria and People's Republic of China. I would also like to thank our Nigerian consultants, Mrs. Transap, Technorail Consultants Limited, for their services.
So far, we have taken delivery of a number of coaches that will be used for the operations, while the main coaches numbering 48 would arrive in due course. And financing for the railway coaches is being done by the China Exim Bank and the FCT.
Meanwhile, 5,000 passengers are going to be conveyed daily on the commuter rail until the 15th month, where the capacity will increase to 350,000 along the two lines inaugurated by President Muhammadu Buhari. Emmanuel Ayimiro takes us through the Abuja metro station routes and the overall benefits.
Abuja Rail Mass Transit System, which began in phases, is primarily designed to integrate satellite towns into the metropolitan public transportation system. Phase 1 of the project consists of lots 1A and 3, covering a length of 45.245 kilometers of double track, while Line 3 connects downtown and Abuja Airport. Line 1A connects Idu Station, where passengers can transfer between Lot 1A, Lot 3, and Abuja Kaduna Railway. It is a fast-speed rail. Market women and drivers' representatives are already talking about the expected benefits.
It will ease trading because we trade from state to state. So it will ease cost of transportation.
From here it's linking the airport and other satellite city of the FCT, and it will assist the normal transportation system, and it will complement the effort of the transport in the FCT. So,
although the project is divided into 6 phases, Handler says completion of the remaining is feasible.
Because this government is their first tenure, and what others were unable to do for the past how many years, they came, showed dedication, and today Nigeria is better off. With the dedication of government, I see progress.
With the Abuja Metro Station situated just by the World Trade Center, investors coming from the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, won't have to suffer difficulties in accessing the city center. Emmanuel Ayimiro, NTA News.
And away from that, to strengthen the fight against corruption, the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission is advocating prevention through system and policy reforms as a panacea. This was by the acting chairman of the commission, Musa Abubakar, at the 2018 African Anti-Corruption Day held in Abuja. Olajide Bello reports.
Corruption, a global phenomenon, is identified as the most pressing challenge that is confronting Africa's development. It is observed that the corrosive effect of corruption undermines the stability of the rule of law, respect for human rights, accountability, and good governance. With the African Union declaring 2018 as the African Anti-Corruption Year, and also appointed President Muhammadu Buhari as the anti-corruption champion of the year, many say the need for all hands to be on deck to fight the Hydra-headed monster becomes imperative.
ICPC is committed to the AU's vision of making Africa less tolerant to corruption. For all intent and purposes, we affirm the need to wage aggressive fights against those who practice corruption and institutions that benefit from the proceeds of corruption.
Citizens should act in support of the anti-corruption crusade. They should act against corruption by, first of all, from their own levels, shunning corrupt practices on a personal level, minding what happens in their homes, the fathers, the mothers, and make sure that they are providing good examples for their children.
The 2018 Africa Anti-Corruption Day is with a theme, a call to citizen action on whether the fight against corruption, a sustainable path to Africa's transformation. In Abuja, Olajide Bello, NTA News.
Meanwhile, as the African Network for Environment and Economic Justice joins other African countries to mark the African Union Anti-Corruption Day, Nigeria's citizens and civil society organizations have been advised to work with the federal government to deal with the problem of corruption. The call came at the event held in Abuja. Ifeanyi Ezumba has details.
That was a rally to mark the African Union Anti-Corruption Day by the African Network for Environment and Economic Justice in Abuja. This year's theme is Winning the Fight Against Corruption, a Sustainable Path to Africa's Transformation. Special Assistant to the President on Justice Reform and Coordinator, Open Government in Nigeria, Juliet Ibekako-Nwangu, congratulated President Muhammadu Buhari for being selected as African Union Champion on Anti-Corruption, emphasizing that the development of single treasury account has made it impossible for anybody to remove government money.
Monies that belongs to you and I, and by reducing those opportunities, we're already preventing corruption. What we are doing here today is to say to civil societies, to Nigerians, and to citizens that this government wants to work with you to deal with this problem, because the government is only one segment of the society.
Participants at the occasion are of the opinion that money recovered from the Abacha loot should be channeled into projects that would benefit all Nigerians rather than sharing it.
I want to know how the access to the database can be liberalized. That we should concentrate, spend, time, energy, and resources on things that are sustainable, things that can stand the test of time.
The concern the people are raising is well-founded, but however, unfortunately, this particular recovered asset from Switzerland was negotiated under a framework that the World Bank.
Some of the objectives of the African Network for Environment and Economic Justice is to promote societal and behavioral changes against corruption, among others. In Abuja, Ifeanyi Ezumba, NT News.
Still on the issue, recovery of assets remains an important source of domestic resource mobilization towards meeting the Sustainable Development Goals. Naja'atu Tijani reports that global effort at implementing the fight against corruption is gaining momentum as stakeholders commemorate Africa Anti-Corruption Day with a roundtable on asset recovery.
Assets lost through looting, tax evasion, and other illicit financial flows are all recoverable under laws and can lead to realization of sustainable development goals. However, a significant amount of this loot is outside Africa's jurisdiction.
The Roundtable is providing a platform to discuss a legal framework aimed at improving asset recovery, return, and use in African countries.
Stakeholders who agree that this administration is progressing in the fight against corruption also agree that definite action must be taken to address obstacles to asset recovery from international law enforcement agencies.
Their banking law, let them amend it. Let them stop this issue of non-disclosure clauses in the opening of accounts by foreigners in their country.
At the end of the day, you don't even get a salary or a minimum wage that can take you home. Yet, our political elites continue to amass enormous wealth.
I mean, with the president coming into office in 2015, he made it clear that fighting corruption is one of the critical agenda for him. And he set out to, first of all, strengthen the anti-corruption institutions.
Despite these advancements, there is still a debate about Executive Order No. 6, which seeks to restrain owners of assets under investigation from carrying out transactions on such assets.
So that order is directly saying to anti-corruption agencies, priority, when you are fighting corruption, from the point of investigation to prosecution, make sure that you focus on the assets.
Section 315 of the Constitution empowers the president or the governor of a state to issue executive orders, to make any law to conform with the Constitution. Those who issue the order will have to go back to the drawing table and consult.
There is agreement within the African Union, however, that the dynamic of aid will change to rights, fairness and justice once illicit financial flow is arrested. In Abuja, Naja'atu Tijani, NTA News.
Hingino is standing by in Lagos to keep us up to speed with happenings at the Center of Excellence. It's over to you now.
Lagos. The third mainland bridge in Lagos will be closed to traffic from midnight of Thursday the 26th to Sunday 29th of July. The Federal Controller of Works in Lagos, Adedamola Kuti, who disclosed this at a stakeholders meeting in Lagos, said the closure is to enable engineers carry out maintenance work on expansion joints of the bridge. Dotun Oguyemi has details.
The Federal Executive Council had in May this year approved 18.874 billion naira for the repair and maintenance works on the third mainland bridge. The closure is to enable a dynamic test to be carried out on expansion joints and determine those to be replaced. The Federal Controller of Works says this can only be done on weekends to reduce stress on motorists.
The bridge will be shut, that it will be closed to traffic on the midnight of Thursday 27th, midnight, and be open to traffic by midnight of Sunday 29th, so that those who are going to Lagos Island to resume work will not be affected. We'll go on the alternative routes, and then the contractor is already on ground to fix all these things.
In the light of this development, the Federal Road Safety Corps had advised car owners to embrace the park and ride option of moving around during this period.
Within this period, if you don't have business coming to using Third Mainland Bridge, if there's nothing so serious, you can just park your vehicle, and instead of everybody just coming up with his vehicle, within this period, can we do the park and ride option, which we have been advocating? It will really help us in easing of traffic within Lagos.
The meeting had in attendance FRSC officials, LASMA, the police, and members of the Road Transport Workers Union.
Ikorodu Road and Macaulay Way, as well as the Eko Bridge and Kata Bridge, will become a beehive of activities. The repair works on the bridge is expected to last for a contract duration of 27 months. In Lagos, Dotun Oguyemi, NTA News.
The Ministry of Works announced that the third mainland bridge will be closed for maintenance work. However, some other bridges in Lagos may need to be subjected to an integrity test because of the unintended weight they are carrying. Lynn Leneke has this special report.
Whoever conceived this bridge and those that designed it would never have envisaged that the bridge would at the worst bear this load. Trucks and more trucks parked on the bridge. The unending line stretches quite a distance. This is dead weight, and in spite of some redundancy probably built in, the toll on the bridge cannot be imagined. This is the Ijara Bridge in Lagos, and the traffic flows from the Apapa Port's traffic crisis. Further down the road are heavy-duty vehicles, and the line extends to the flyovers. The threats to the bridges and flyovers have been well reported, but not much has changed. The Ministry of Works says it is ascertaining the extent of which the integrity of the Ijara Bridge has been compromised.
Those bridges are not designed for stationary vehicles. They're actually designed for vehicles to move and not for dead load. So it constantly, we are already talking with the stakeholders, and we do hope that something positive will come out of it.
It is not just the Ijora Bridge that now has to be checked. The inferno that erupted on the Michael Otedola Bridge following the recent tanker incident also raised some concern about its integrity among structural engineers of the Ministry of Works.
The bridge was not actually affected. The fire accident, that explosion occurred a few meters away from it. The section of the road that is had that problem. As soon as Julius Berger PLC gets to that section of the road, it will be fixed by JB.
Lagos is a city with many bridges, and several of them do need a second look. From the pressure of static vehicles during numerous gridlocks to the stripped railings, the bridges have taken some beating and could do with integrity tests. In Lagos, Lane Lenake, NTA News.
Journalists have been charged to enhance their contributions to the growth of democracy in Nigeria as the 2019 general elections approach. Some speakers cited this at the presentation of 3 books authored by international journalist and publisher of Ovation magazine, Dele Momodu. Ken Egbeluge has the report.
2 of the books, Pendulum Volume 1 and 2, cover Dele Momodu's journalistic career, which spans over 3 decades. The books illustrate topical issues in Nigeria. The third publication, Fighting Lions, chronicles the untold story of Momodu's presidential ambition in 2011. The challenges and the lessons he learned from the experience were all documented.
Members of the younger generation who may still be under the illusion that June 12th is just another day on the calendar can read the events before, during, and after that political saga for a better understanding of our country.
The overriding theme is the development of Nigeria and the role that leaders have to play. Whether it's writing an open letter to the president or talking to fellow Nigerians, he never fails to emphasize his fundamental beliefs in an equitable society where the standard of living is decent.
Our children to know about the history of Nigeria.
Speakers used the event to urge the media to be proactive ahead of the 2019 elections, advising the fourth estate of the realm to use their edge to change the narrative for the common good.
The members of the press have aligned themselves with a biblical truth that recognizes authorship as an instrument of battle.
And most of the things I have learned from him is so great that today I too decide to follow his step by running for the presidency of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Dele Momodu's presentation of the 3 books is in commemoration of the 20th anniversary of MK Abiola's death and also to mark the 25th anniversary of the annulment of June 12, 1993 election in Lagos. Ken Egbeluge, NTA News.
We apologize for the poor audio in some parts of that report. And those are the stories from Lagos at this hour. It's back to Vivian in Abuja.
Thank you, Hingino. Moving on now, the Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of operations, Habila Joshak, has refuted the allegation by the governor of Ekiti State, Ayodele Fayose, that he and his supporters were harassed and brutalized during a planned rally in support of the PDP candidate. DIG Joshak says the security operatives have respect for the governor and could not have done that because the security personnel are in the state to prevent breakdown of law and order.
The Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of operations, Habila Joshak, refuted the allegation by the governor of Ekiti State, Ayodele Fayose, that he and his supporters were harassed and brutalized during a planned rally in support of the PDP candidate. DIG Joshak says the security operatives have respect for the governor and could not have done that because the security are in the state to prevent breakdown of law and order.
It will be unheard of that the governor of the state will be targeted by the use of smoke. That we will not do. If there's any reason that he has seen that, I don't think anything was meant for the governor.
Ekiti State Governor, Mr. Ayodele Fayose, had alleged that he was tear-gassed while some of their supporters were brutalized. In Ado Ekiti, Kendi Durodola, NTA News.
And more from Ekiti as we link up with Mohammed Ali. Can you hear me, Mohammed?
Yeah.
It's good to see you. Now, what is the situation right now at the INEC office in Ekiti?
Well, everything is done here at the INEC office in Ekiti. Early morning around 10, the resident setup went to the central bank here at the secretariat where they told the INEC headquarters.
Okay, Mohammed. We seem to have issues with the connection there. Once we reestablish a better connection, we'll get back to you. Moving on now, the United States Institute of Peace is urging African leaders to support meditative effort on disputes and work towards peaceful acceptance of electoral results. The Institute's advice comes after a series of meetings and findings of a major research study in Nigeria's forthcoming 2019 elections. Justin Bem Unyi reports that the research study focused on averting the risk of election violence in Nigeria.
The United States Institute of Peace, USIP, has conducted research study in 8 states in Nigeria about the risks for 2019 elections in terms of where violence might occur and for what reasons. USIP is saying that because some of the risks have changed, the response also needs to be changed if mitigation is to be achieved and if violence needs to be avoided. The Institute opines that there is a role to be played by all the actors, political parties, police and security agencies, and the Independent National Electoral Commission to take action in this regard.
Well, for example, we think that the political parties need to do more to improve their internal party democracy. Many of the issues that are leading to risks of violence have to do with internal party disputes. And so resolving those questions within parties will help.
I believe INEC is ready. We have drawn up elaborate plans. We've learned from the previous election through our reviews as well as observers' reports from both national and international observers. So we're able to identify some of the key issues that we need to take on. A major issue in any election is logistics.
So all of us, that's why I said it's a collective responsibility that all of us have a part to play to see that there is no violence. There is also a suggestion of the youth themselves, that youth should not only be listened to, but they should also be part and be participants. Even on the final day of election, they should be mobilized to do the monitoring and also to see what is happening at every level.
The research was done in Adamawa, Anambra, Plateau, Kano, Kaduna, Lagos, Rivers, and Ekiti states, and the FCT. The United States Institute of Peace is an independent national non-partisan institute founded by the U.S. Congress and dedicated to the proposition that a world without violent conflict is possible, practical, and essential for U.S. and global security. Justin Bem-Unyi, NTA News.
Taraba State Police Command has confirmed the return of normalcy following last week's communal clashes in some communities of Low local government area. The police public relations officer, ASP David Misol, stated this in a media briefing in Jalingo, Taraba State. Christy Ayagwa Adai reports.
The recent crisis in some communities in Low local government area led to the loss of lives and destruction of property. These latest attacks have thrown hundreds of families homeless, as many have fled their homes for safety and are now taking refuge in makeshift camps. Police Public Relations Officer ASP David Misal said on Thursday, the 5th of July 2018, some settlements in Mayolope came under attack by some hoodlums suspected to have come on reprisal mission from Numan local government area of Adamawa State, escalating to a clash between Fulanis and the Yandang people in Taraba State. He disclosed that one suspect was arrested by the police with a then gun at the scene of the incident.
The Commissioner of Police wishes to reassure the general public of the command unwavering commitment in ensuring a stable peace and public safety I urge the general public to cooperate with the police and other security agencies in order to deliver on its mandate.
Well, for an update on the reconstruction of the Ibadan-Lagos Highway and other stories trending in our Ibadan Network Center, we now join Kemi in Ibadan.
Ogwa, good afternoon and welcome to Ibadan. Motorists plying the Lagos-Ibadan Highway have appealed to the federal government to harness necessary resources and ensure timely completion of the reconstruction of the infrastructure. The road users, while appreciating efforts of government on the project, expressed worry on the cut on the budgetary allocation for its reconstruction. Fatai Adieloja reports.
At every forum, the federal government, through the Minister for Information, Power, Works and Housing counterpart, keep assuring Nigerians the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway will be delivered in December. Against the backdrop of the slash in budgetary allocation to this project, how achievable is this feat without compromising quality?
For the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway was reduced from 20 billion to 18 billion, a reduction of 2 billion, which will not significantly affect the construction of the road in one appropriation cycle.
No sooner had the Oyo-Ibadan axis of the Ilorin-Ibadan dualized carriageway been put to use than it started caving in. What is the take of one of the contractors handling Ibadan-Lagos Expressway?
That's in every step of the work, and the quality of the work includes the concrete, earthwork, bridges, and concrete. It's very high standard.
As of today, we have been able to achieve over 60% completion.
Federal government has also promised that there will be more injection of funds on this project.
Some motorists have praised the ongoing construction work.
There are some still dangerous areas that we employ the contractors to speed their work.
Somebody who has been shuttling this road, I can really confess that the work is moving as expected.
Release the quantum of money required to finish the project, you could have a situation in which there's misapplication of the funds.
It is crystal clear that aside from the slash in budgetary provision, the scope of work has been expanded in Ibadan. Fatai Adieloja, NTA News.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, and some non-governmental organizations have sought public support for the anti-corruption stand of the present administration. This was the essence of the sensitization campaign tagged Youth Walk Against Corruption in Ibadan. Kemi Oshin has the details.
In Nigeria, the EFCC has secured over 100 convictions between January and July 2018 alone, and has traced and recovered illicit funds and properties worth billions of dollars, which is indicating the alarming extent of corruption in the society. The sensitization work is therefore part of effort to raise awareness on the need for support from all and sundry so that the anti-corruption war can be jointly won.
We have to engage them. We have to make them understand that corruption is hindering the development of this country despite the potential that we have.
So we're talking about general orientation of people of Nigeria, that they should detest corruption, bad habits, taking people's rights.
The role of Nigeria in the fight against corruption in the continent was further boosted by the designation of President Muhammadu Buhari as Africa's anti-corruption champion at the last AU summit. Theme, winning the fight against corruption, a sustainable path to Africa's transformation. This year's edition also focuses young people to ensure continuity in ending the culture of corruption in Ibadan. Kemi Oshin, NTA News.
And that's it from Ibadan. It's back to you, Ogwa.
Thank you, Kemi. Well, I understand we've managed to establish connection with Mohammed in Ekiti. Can you tell us the situation on ground now?
Yeah, thank you very much. Like I was saying earlier on, this morning, the legislature standing beside me now, lead other officials to the CBN here where they collected the sensitive material and they sent out their own to the various local governments and they have been tracking the virus. I have to be the resident of Commissioner Professor Abdul I always got to listen. What sort of is the significance of what you did this morning concerning the distribution of the materials?
Thank you very much. What we did this morning, which is the distribution of the sensitive material, marks the beginning of the final stages of the electoral process. The materials were delivered to the central bank as usual, and we went to the central compound with all our vehicles, the security men, and senior officials of INEC, precisely 3 national commissioners with the supervising national commissioner speaking for.
Well, I understand that it's raining in Ekiti and the signal is still a bit shaky, so we'll get back to you, Mohammed, when we re-establish connection. The federal government has formally launched a national campaign against fake news in the country. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed, while formally launching the campaign in Abuja, chronicled the dangers inherent in the practice. Anthony Folson reports. Well, we'll get back to that report. Moving on, the federal government says the $322.5 million Abacha loot recently repatriated from Switzerland will be injected into the social investment program of government in order to give the lowly placed a sense of belonging. Special Advisor to the President on Social Investment, Miriam Uwais, disclosed this at the inauguration of civil society organizations that have synergized to monitor effective utilization of recovered looted funds and assets by the federal government. Ilyasu Aliyu Yakub reports.
Of all the efforts being made in the cash transfer program, in the disbursement of the $321 million that have been invested or that are to be invested in.
Since May 29, 2015, when President Muhammadu Buhari took the mantle of leadership, the fight against corruption took a new dimension with intense approach to the recovery of looted funds and assets. So far, the government has recovered looted funds to the tune of over 500 billion naira, an asset running into hundreds of billions of naira. President Muhammadu Buhari says the fight against corruption will continue unabated, promising to utilize the looted funds for the welfare and well-being of Nigerians. This development has prompted the coalition of civil society organizations under the auspices of Africa Network for Environment and Economic Justice to put a machinery in motion that will ensure effective monitoring of the recovered looted funds and asset utilization.
It is very innovative. It provides a good example for the world that government can work with civil society in ensuring transparency and accountability in recovered assets to use for sustainable development.
This effort is also collaborating with international donor agencies and the government of some foreign countries for easy repatriation of recovered looted funds and assets. In Abuja, Ilyasu Ali Yakubu, NTA News.
Well, we'll now bring you Anthony Forson's report on the formal launch of a national campaign against fake news in the country.
Fake news is a type of yellow journalism or propaganda that consists of deliberate misinformation or hoaxes spread through the media with the intent to mislead in order to damage an agency, entity, or person for personal interests. Nigeria, being a part of the world, seems to be plagued by this fake news epidemic that is a threat to democracy, with the media being used as the channel. Even though fake news is not new, as it is said to be as old as the print media, concerns are rife given its potency for destruction. It is against this background that the federal government deemed it fit to launch a national campaign against fake news. And so, at the formal launch of the national campaign against fake news, Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed said What has made fake news an issue of concern is the means and speed with which it goes viral, given the number of people who have access to mobile phones and internet. The minister cited the Osogbo Federal High Court order and some newspaper reports.
You are all aware of a recent report by the BBC, that's the British Broadcasting Corporation, that fake news circulating in the social media is fueling the farmers' herders crisis in Nigeria. Gory pictures from other lands are circulated freely via Facebook, WhatsApp, and Twitter, purportedly being from the killings in Jos or Benue State. In 2017, a fake report circulated on the social media claimed that 5 students of the College of Education, Gidanwaya, were ambushed and killed by Fulani herdsmen in southern Kaduna. That report turned out to be false. No student was killed. I can go on and on.
The minister maintained that in a multi-ethnic and multi-religious country like Nigeria, fake news is a time bomb.
In recent weeks, many anarchists have been doing everything possible to denote the bomb. But for the prudence and vigilance of Nigerians, they, the religious and ethnic bigots among us, would have set the nation on fire, especially over the farmers' herders clashes, as well as communal clashes.
Lai Mohammed said the federal government will deploy all its information tools at its disposal to create the necessary awareness about the dangers of fake news. Responding to questions from journalists who sought for clarifications, the minister did not mince his words.
People must be reminded how fake news led to the death of over 800,000 people in Rwanda alone. It was hate speech and fake news. But I think it's very important that we all even imbibe the culture of not engaging in fake news. Many people don't know the effect of fake news.
He commended the Nigerian Television Authority, the Federal Radio Corporation, and some national dailies for their role.
With the campaign formally launched now by the Information and Culture Minister, Lai Mohammed, the call is for all Nigerians to come on board in a fight against fake news. Anthony Forson, NTA News.
This is Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. More reports when Nationwide continues. Stay with us.
Hate speech is not a joke. It incites genocide and crimes against humanity. Most of Africa's civil wars are caused by hate speech from one tribe against another. We don't want it here. The Nigerian government stands firm against hate speech.
Under no conditions whatsoever should we tolerate or excuse or justify hate speech or hateful conduct of any kind, especially where such is illegal.
There's no doubt that the resurgent push for separatism, as well as the rising cases of ethnic and religious disharmony, are all traceable to the growing phenomenon of hate speech.
One nation bound in freedom, peace and unity.
Nigeria, one nation, one people.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
The House Committee on Sports cordially invites all stakeholders in the sports sector and sports enthusiasts to a 2-day national sports summit with the theme Growing Nigeria's Sports from Grassroots to Championship, Excellence and Sustainable Development, under the distinguished chairmanship of Governor Akinwumi Ambode, Governor of Lagos State, Co-Chairman Barrister Nyesom Wike, Governor of Rivers State, Special Guest of Honor Barrister Solomon Dalu, Honorable Minister of Sports and Youth Development, Chief Host and Keynote Speaker Right Honorable Yakubu Dogara, Speaker, House of Representatives, Co-Host Alhaji Mohammed Bello, Honorable Minister of FCT, Royal Father of the occasion, His Royal Highness Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, Emir of Kano, Fathers of the Day, General Yakubu Gowon retired, Ibrahim Gaidam, Governor of Yobe State, Oba Otudepo, Mother of the Day, Mrs. Aisha Buhari, wife of the President, date 23rd and 24th July 2018, venue Nikon Luxury Hotel Abuja, time 9 a.m. daily. Other important guests include NOC President, President Sports Federation, State Commissioners of Sports, State Directors of Sports, and Directors of Sports in ministries, departments, and agencies. Resource persons, Professor Sherwin Omotayo, Michelle Obi, William Babatunde Fowler, Executive Chairman FIRS, Professor Ebenezer Morakinyo, Dr. Alhassan Yakmut, Short Talk, Shagun Odebami, Angelo Peter Elosia, Amaju Pinnick, Professor Nibath Tanglan, Discussant, Dr. Amos Adamu, Dr. Patrick AKG, Dr. Ademola Are, Director Grassroots, Aisha Folade. For more information, please contact Okeyinka Matthew, Global Sports Consult on 081-855-22268, 0805-238-3336. Suleiman Fatai, Clerk, House Committee on Sports on 0806-7713-438, 0818-5568873. This advert is proudly supported by NTA, Africa's largest TV network. Announcer, Honorable Goni Bukarlawan, Chairman, House Committee on Sports.
Good to know you're still there. Former Governor of Kaduna State, Balarabe Musa, reacts to the coalition of political parties. Rukaya has more on this and other stories from our Kaduna Network Center.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. Welcome to Kaduna Network Center. Former Governor of Kaduna State and National Leader of People's Redemption Party, PRP, Abdul Balarabe Musa, has described the recent alliance of 40 opposition political parties in Nigeria as a desperate act by opportunists whose ideologies are not for sustainable development of the country. The former governor said this in an interview with NTA News in Kaduna. Suleiman Abdullahi Rigachkun reports.
Few days ago, 40 opposition political parties signed a memorandum of understanding in Abuja preparatory to the 2019 general election. Reacting to the development, an elder statesman and leader of People's Redemption Party, Malam Abdul Qadir Balarabe Musa, said his party will only form alliance with those whose mission is to develop Nigeria in all facets of life.
I could really say political opportunists. We have them. I don't need to mention any name. And we're not just saying this out of prejudice. We have dealt with the people who are leading the alliance. We have dealt with them before, PDP in particular, the latest. We dealt with them before. And all our dealings with them didn't achieve anything for the people of Nigeria and for the country. The confusion continued. So we don't want to be at it again.
The elder statesman also called on youth to participate in progressive democratic movements that will do good to Nigeria. In Kaduna, I am Suleiman Abdullahi Rigachkun, NTA News.
Kaduna State Government, in collaboration with UNICEF, has distributed vehicles to 10 local government areas of the state with a view to promoting hygiene and provision of water supply to rural communities. Muhammad Umar Ajingi reports.
Hygienic environment coupled with absence of potable water in rural communities heighten the dangers of contracting diseases. Hence the introduction of sanitation, hygiene and water project by UNICEF in 2004. The distribution of vehicles is aimed at taking the campaign on sanitation and hygiene to hard-reach areas of the state.
This government is determined to reposition the water, sanitation and hygiene sector for effective service delivery in an efficient and sustainable manner.
It is mainly to enhance the living standard and health condition of people through regular hand washing, discouraging open defecation, and ensuring supply of clean water to households. In Kaduna, I am Muhammad Umar Ajingi, NTA News.
Empowering rural communities has been described as one of the most effective ways to fight poverty in Katsina State. A program set to address this issue was organized for rural women in Mani local government of the state by wife of the Katsina State Governor, Zakia Aminu Bello Masari. Lawal Ahmed Matazu completes the report.
Across many places in northern Nigeria, sites like these of women struggling to make ends meet are very common. A lot of these women pay dearly with their youth and the energy to help maintain many homes in rural communities across northern Nigeria. Empowering these women with a little capital or something they can use to generate income has proved to be a catalyst for poverty alleviation in many homes. The wife of Katsina State Governor Hajiya Zakia Aminu Bello Masari came up with the idea of Gender Back Initiative, where over 10,000 women and youth were given empowerment packages. This time, the governor's wife launched the distribution of improved seeds, goats, and guinea fowls to hundreds of women in Mani local government.
My advice to the women is they should utilize what we have given them.
Deputy Governor Alhaji Manir Yakubu, who was represented by the Special Advisor on Agriculture, Dr. Abba Abdullahi, says, among other commitments, government is looking into ways to assist farmers increase their productivity and market their produce. In Katsina, Lola Ahmed Matazu, NTA News.
And that's our contribution from Kaduna Network Center. It's back to Vivian in Abuja for continuation of Nationwide.
Thank you, Rukaya. Another break now beckons. More reports when we return.
The Nigerian broadcast sector is evolving. Operators, including cameramen and photographers, require new skills and techniques to churn out world-class productions. A unique opportunity is open to all. NTA TV College Jos is organizing a 4-week intensive short course in camera operation techniques aimed at enhancing the professional skills of cameramen and photographers, practicing and freshers. Date, 16th July to 10th August 2018. Another 4-week intensive short course in photojournalism and photography holds 13th August to 7th September 2018. Venue for both courses is the TV College premises, NTA TV College, Rayfield, Jos. Fee, 100,000 Naira per participant. Accommodation inclusive. For more inquiries, contact us on 0806-980-9807 and 0703-660-7155. TV College, Jos. Training you to be the best you want to be. Join us every Friday, 11 p.m. for Eye on the Road, the program from the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, FEMA.
We'll bring you highlights of policies and programs on road maintenance. You'll hear from road users, as well as those charged with maintaining the roads.
It's interactive, it's informative, it's educative.
It's Eye on the Road, showing at this time
every Friday, 11 p.m. Don't miss out.
Get the latest news and updates from across Nigeria on NTA Nationwide. NTA Nationwide, weekdays by 4 p.m. Get it first. Get it fresh.
Thank you for being there. The federal government has restated determination towards the provision of infrastructure to the citizenry. Minister of State, Power Works and Housing, Mustafa Babashe Huri, made this known while commissioning the handing over of Garden Toro Markets Road erosion control work in Toro local government area of Bauchi State. Maria Mubala completes the story.
Executed by Ecological Fund Office, the project is aimed at checking flood and erosion menace in the community, adding that the age-long flooding problem arising from flash rains in the area will be a thing of the past. Minister of State, Power, Works and Housing, Mustafa Babashe Huri, said the project will bring a huge relief to the community, which for a very long time has been affected by these ecological challenges.
This project, which is one of the 15 ecological intervention projects approved by Mr. President for the fourth quarter of 2016, was awarded by the Ecological Fund Office Tenders Board on 6 December 2016.
The Permanent Secretary, Ecological Fund Office, Dr. Habib Balawal, represented by her Deputy Director, Awal Sani, said that the project was initiated through a request from urgent interventions forwarded to the Ecological Fund Office to arrest the continuous erosion so as to avoid environmental degradation, loss of lives and property in Toro community. Some beneficiaries of the project expressed gratitude to the federal government for the gesture and assured of its proper utilization.
We appreciate this work very, very much, and we are thankful to God Almighty, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for showing us this time.
We were afraid the erosion was threatening the existence of our houses, but now with the drainage that has been constructed, the road is now okay, and the threat we are facing about the erosion is no longer there. So
in Bauchi, Mariam Mubala, NTN.
And for a bit of legislative matters, the Senate has passed through first reading a bill for an act to alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The bill seeks to provide for the establishment of community and state police. The Deputy Senate President, Ike Ekweremadu, who is the chairman of Senate Committee on the Constitution Review, explained that the committee concluded its mandate on the bills and hopes that it will receive accelerated passage through second reading so that it will immediately be subjected to public hearing. Our National Assembly correspondent, Ignatius Unkwo, reports that the Senate has urged the government to urgently commence its reconstruction of the runway of Akanu Ibiam International Airport, Enugu State, to avert imminent danger, as moved by Senator Chukwuka Utazi. And guests on Good Morning Nigeria have identified proper planning as key to managing population explosion in Nigeria. The guests made this known while speaking on managing population explosion on NTA's flagship program, Good Morning Nigeria. Lydia Sampson has the report.
The guests decried the situation where population is growing faster than the economic growth. They stressed that it is high time family planning is encouraged as a human rights issue in line with the UN Declaration of 1968 for the country to achieve demographic dividends.
When a woman pays her children, when she has children every 2 years, every 3 years, there's no how she will have more than 4 in her lifetime. So we need to empower our women.
27% of Nigerian women of reproductive age, that is about 12 million, who want to use family planning method are not using it for one reason or the other. Either the services are not available, or something they don't have the information where to access the services, or something is blocking them.
They also urge the public to be realistic and acknowledge the fact that it is only with the right number of children that parents can bequeath to their children and generation a promising future.
We have to be real. So I think the focus for us as a country will be to be able to develop the mechanisms that can allow people to interrogate, what will happen in the next 10 years if we don't begin to do the right things now.
It's important that they should also educate government to come and assist us. This is donor agencies.
The guests called on families to embrace what they described as planning by the family rather than planning for the family. They emphasized the need for proper data, education, and access to family planning facilities for interested women so that they can make informed choices for the good of their family and the nation at large. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
And now sports update with Kene Emabodike.
The Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports Development has continued to welcome partnerships from different sectors towards ensuring a successful 19th National Sports Festival in Abuja. A partnership agreement which was signed midweek in Abuja is expected to last for 10 years, as the ministry says the power to take a final position on the games rests squarely on the federal government.
In the National Sports Festival, there are so many business-making activity involved. So all relevant investors who are interested are now going to be harnessed.
Nigeria's national under-20 men's football team, the Flying Eagles, are set to face their Mauritanian counterparts in the first leg, third round 2019 African Youth Championships qualifiers in Nouakchott Friday. The team, who defeated Guinea-Bissau in the previous round with a 3-2 aggregate scoreline, departed the nation Thursday with coach Paul Ayabogu leading an 18-man squad. Nigeria will host the return leg in a week's time.